Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is about that time. Keep your hands up and keep your head on a swivel. The Haymakers and Submissions podcast is here. We woke up and chose violence today. Stick and stay for combat sports talk and inspiredness coming your way now.
Welcome, everybody, to the Haymakers and Submissions podcast. He's Chops, I'm Drew. We're talking all things combat sports today, focusing on UFC 314, reviewing that. Talking a little bit about Boots Ennis, but then Chops, we're going to talk about, for the most part, where were you on April 15th, 1985?
Man.
Some of you were in the womb.
Yeah. I was a teenager. I was a young teenager, young teenager.
I was an eager 11-year-old just waiting to see, will Tommy take him? What round will he take him in?
I know. And that's the crazy part, man. And I don't want to get into this now, but we're definitely getting into it. But there are a few fights that you remember for whatever reason. Everybody else may not remember it, but there are certain things you can hear a song, smell a smell that takes you back to a certain time. In that was just one of them. That was just one of them, man. It was crazy. That was something, man.
I can't wait to talk about it because it was such an anticipated fight, and being from the Detroit area, I mean, it was such a huge fight for us. You know, Tommy Hearns, Cronk Boxing, we were fired up about it, and they didn't disappoint, but it didn't turn out the way we wanted it in the D. But you know, at the same time, there's no shame in that one. That was amazing fight. I can't wait to talk about it. Well, let's jump into talking about the UFC card from last week, UFC 314. Chops, talk us through it. There was a few upsets, but from what I understand, it was a pretty damn good card overall.
It was a great card. The entire card, the main card, was huge. It was huge. None of the fights disappointed. There were some where you were like, "Are you kidding me?" You know what I mean? There were some that you were like, "I couldn't believe this." And let's just go. Starting off, Reyes. Reyes beat Krylov, and I don't know what it was. Krylov is coming at him, and it was a win that Reyes needed, and it was a move that you wouldn't see in boxing, but you do see it in MMA, where guys just rush you, just jackhammer and throwing punches, and Krylov was coming straight. And your boy Reyes was able to step and boom, straight down the middle, just caught him. And I don't think when he hit the ground, I don't even think they started counting. I don't think he even had to hit him again. It was out. He put him out, man. It was impressive. And you knew Reyes had that power, but Krylov was thick. He's strong. And again, when the gloves start throwing, anything can happen. Anything. So it was a good fight. That kicked it off. We're like, wow. And that at the time, to be honest with you, was the fight that I was probably least interested in. And when it started off with a bang that way, I was like, okay, get your popcorn ready. Your popcorn ready. So that was a good one. Like I said, Reyes, I want to say Reyes was on a 2-fight losing streak. So he needed that one. This one, I told you, Bryce Mitchell had said some things. Jan Silva, he fights for a team called the Fighting Nerds, right? And all these guys, they come to the ring with the tape on their glasses looking like a nerd. And as a collective unit, I want to say now they're 19-0 as a collective unit. I think they have one loss, but it was a female fighter, but she hasn't made the UFC's main cards as much as these other fighters have. That's why, so, yeah. But their team is phenomenal. And he hit him with a bulldog choke, a ninja choke, whatever you want. And to the point where and it was round 3. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he, as in Mitchell, was just doing what he wanted. Silva was doing to Mitchell what he wanted. Mitchell had said some things. I told you about that in the past. Dana White called him the biggest idiot. Mm-hmm. He was, and it's kind of, I don't want to say crazy, but sometimes people get religion. It's almost like as they become the holy rollers, where he's now truly he's gotten deeper into his faith and his religion, which, hey, I don't care what it is, anything that makes you a better person than great. But now he's on an apology tour. He's standing up and he's saying, I'm going to do, but in my house, we're going to serve Jesus Christ, whatever. And you've seen guys win an award. I just want to thank my Lord and Savior for this. And it's humble the way they say it. Then you have guys that are over the top with it. I'm not saying he was over the top, but Mitchell, he definitely was letting people know he's a warrior for God. But Silva wanted to come out. He wanted to touch gloves. Mitchell wouldn't touch gloves, not any of the rounds. And you could see Silva talking to Mitchell and pointing his finger like, you better be humble. You better be whatever. It's something he was sticking him in the stand-up. He was just beating him up, man. He was literally just beating him up. And then, boom, hit him with the ninja choke. Mitchell, it was tight. Everybody knew it. And Mitchell tapped out. And it's how crazy the body works, how deadly martial arts is. And when I say don't play, whatever. Mm-hmm. Mitchell was able to tap. As soon as he tapped, the ref jumped on him and stopped it. And I'm not lying to you, within the second 1.2, 1.3, not even a second half, from the time he tapped, ref stopped it, Silva lets go, Mitchell is out cold. So literally with his last conscious thought, he tapped. Mm-hmm. And then he went out that quick. So, that's how that went. So again, to the fighting nerds, they look good. Now this one, I don't know what it was, man. Yair Rodriguez is younger. Patricio Pitbull's coming over. This is his first fight coming over from Bellator, where he was a champ, 3-time champ in Bellator, long-reigning champ. I told you before, Dana White does not give out easy. He doesn't give them out. He does not give out easy fights. He doesn't. So Rodriguez, baptism by fire. You want to come to fight the best, you don't get a tune-up. You're going to the best. So Yair, he comes out, and he was just a superior striker. They have him listed here in the picture, the same height, but I think he's a good 3.5 to 4, maybe 5 inches taller than Pitbull. The reach was too much. The reach was too much. The reach was too much. The kicking was his speed. And the first round starting out, it was like Pitbull didn't realize, what are you doing? He just didn't look comfortable. The third round, he lost all 3 rounds to me, 30-27 on all 3 scorecards. But Pitbull tried to do a little bit more in the fourth. In the third, he was a bit more aggressive. But it just didn't matter. It just didn't matter. Yair Rodriguez did what he wanted to. And even in the third, when Pitbull was trying to come on and he tried to land some, he ended up getting taken down or knocked down. And Yair did some nasty ground and pound. He got the unanimous decision, but it was in that case, it was Yair was too strong, too fast, too young, too long. Too long. So Pitbull will be back. I'm sure he'll be back, but I don't know. This one, Pimblett, this was a big name and a huge step up. Chandler, I think, has lost 4 of his last 5. However, his losses were to Dustin Poirier, to Gaethje, to Charles Oliveira, guys who were all had the belt, holding the belt, warriors. So Pimblett we thought Paddy the Baddy was in for a fight. We thought, this was going to be a tough one. When I'm telling you, he put it on Chandler. And an impressive fact. Here's the thing. Chandler has always looked like he's in the fight. There's been times he's been choked out, he's been tapped, he's been knocked out, caught with a blow, whatever have you. This time, he was just beat up. Pimblett did whatever he wanted. Pimblett was the faster fighter, of course, the younger fighter. He manhandled Chandler. And he split him open. It was nasty, man. It was nasty. So this was Pimblett's first fight of a top 10 guy, and he dismantled him without issue. It's very easily to see that Pimblett may come back. Gaethje, Poirier, or I don't know if he'll get Chandler yet, or Makhachev, the 158, and he's not ready for the belt yet. You know what I mean? But he's going to get a top 5 guy. His next fight, he may be the main event on the next card, because it could be a Justin Gaethje, it could be a Dustin Poirier, but it's going to be against a guy who It's going to be a good one. It is going to be a good one. But this performance, if there was any doubt, Pimblett removed all doubt. And every fight, there are people saying, well, you're stepping up. This was a true step up in competition. He's fought guys in step up that had more experience, but weren't really threatened to do much to him, whatever have you. But this guy can hurt people, as in Chandler. He's tough. His losses, I said, were the guys who were in the top 2, 3, maybe, but top 2. Yeah. So he was only fighting warriors and doing his thing. But Pimblett came in, and it was never in question. And I mean, when I'm telling you, he just beat him up, bullied him, battered him, blooded him. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. Yeah. Now this one, wow. Okay. This one was the first one where youth wasn't served. Yair was younger than Pitbull. Speed showed it. Pimblett was younger than Chandler. Mm-hmm. And Chandler's still strong, but Pimblett he was fast. He was fast, did what he wanted to do. This one, Volk looked like his old self. He stayed in the pocket. He got the better of the exchanges. Of course, Lopez was game. They both got rocked. They both got hurt. It was a great fight. The crazy part was, man, as I'm watching it, Lopez is throwing. Mm-hmm. Volk is throwing. Volk's getting caught. Lopez is getting caught. And he, as in Volk, caught Lopez with some damaging blows. I mean, some hammers. Stumbled him a few times, but never really rocked him. Volk got knocked down. And it looked like it. And I don't know why, and I don't have anything to back this up why I'm saying it, but it just looked like Lopez is missing by just inches, millimeters at points, just barely missing. And you felt if Lopez catches him, this is going to be a game changer. This will be a game changer. And he did catch him, but he didn't catch him, flush enough. He did catch Volk, but not flush enough. Volk caught him hard, strong a couple times, but didn't really hurt him. But I really thought that Volk fought a perfect fight, and it doesn't matter whether you miss by an inch or by a mile. As long as you move and that punch misses you, you've done what you wanted. You did not want to get hit, and Volk did that. Volk, he wasn't as successful on the takedowns. I want to say he was 1 for 10, maybe 2 for 11. So Lopez was great in fighting off the shot and being able to fight off the takedown. But Volk just looked like his old self. And I think 37, 38. Now he's got the belt again at 145. And Volk is 5'6", 145. What's that mean?
He's rocked up.
Yeah. He used to weigh over 220 pounds. Picture that. 5'6", 220, 224. That is a human bowling ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's lost weight, so he's determined, he's mentally strong. But Volk was the old Volk that he was popping his jab. He got the better of the exchanges. He was always close to Lopez hits that. If Lopez catches that, well, if ifs were fists were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. You know what I mean? But that's not what happened. So you got to go what happened. He missed. Lopez, by no means did Lopez lose stock, and he is who we thought he was. He's a gamer. He's a fighter. He's not going to quit. He's not going anywhere. He was getting hit. He was getting rocked. I want to see he was eating them. I can't even say he was rocked. There was one punch that looked like he was a punch, and he got stumbled, but it was more of a push. So Lopez was in there from start to finish. He got hit with more power shots. Because his hair's long, and Paddy Pimblett has done this. He used to have the long hair. Now he braids his hair. And you don't know how much truth there is to it. But it was said, that he no longer braids his hair because when he gets hit, his hair flies and it looks worse than it is. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But he now braids his hair. And your boy Lopez, he has some long hair, but it was a great fight. Volk was in the pocket. Volk was the young guy of old. His gas tank never wavered. He was there for the whole fight. He continued to go for the takedowns. Lopez was game. Volk, now I'm interested to see will he get at least 1 or 2 good defenses of his title to be able to hold it. A lot of times they'll say you're not really champ until you defend it, successfully defend it. Volk's already been there. He's a Hall of Famer. He's going to, what I mean? So, but I'm going to see who he fights next. And Lopez will be back. I wouldn't be surprised if they ran this one back, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It was a good fight. So UFC 314 was worth the price of admission. It was a great card. I'll be honest with you. Dana does not always put on the best cards. Sometimes you just never know. You can put guys and line guys up, but if they don't fight, they don't fight. That's not on Dana.
Yeah.
But this one was everything it was cracked up to be, and it was as good as advertised. It really was. 314 was a great one.
That's fantastic. Great wrap up on that one, Chops. Let's shift gears now back to boxing. Let's talk about Boots Ennis. Boots wears the crown, Chops. He took on Stanionis, and he got the TKO in 6 rounds last Saturday. Now he has the WBA and IBF straps in the welterweight. Your thoughts on the fight, Chops? I mean, we both picked Boots to win. I think I know I picked it to go to distance. So I was happy about the knockout. Your thoughts first.
Okay, now let's start with the good. Yep. Because when we get to the bad and the questions I have, I don't know how our friendship's going to go, brother, because I know Boots is your man, 50 grand. I know Boots is your guy, I know he's your man, pots and pans. Okay. Boots, if you go back and watch our breakdown show, Stanionis was who we thought he was. Came in with the high guard, didn't get his head off the line. He walked Boots down. You were I hate to say human punching bag, but he isn't Stanionis, didn't show angles, right? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And angles matter because think about it. You've sparred, you've done this. If you've got a guy that can switch up southpaw or traditional, and he's good both ways, or his body blows come as good as his hooks, and he can disguise them. He can hit you different ways. That's a tricky sparring session because you don't. Now, you can get a guy that outweighs you by 20 pounds. You get a guy that's got a 6-inch reach on you. But if you know, like Wilder, hypothetically, if you know that all he's throwing is that right, or if you know he's going to one punch, you can do a little bit more. It's easy. Just being honest with you, you still have to avoid it because he's so much heavier, he's bigger, he's stronger.
Yeah.
But when you're only able to do one thing and you are who you are, you know what I mean? It was like Popeye, I am what I am. You know what I mean? So
you can game plan.
Yeah. So Stanionis was that dude. You know what I mean? He came in, guards up high, wearing it. He had his gloves up so high, basically like the earmuffs answering the phone, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves the body open. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So Boots. And here's the thing. You know what it boils down to, man, before I let you go, what you thought? Remember when I said it. Stanionis has 15 fights. Ennis had 30, 32, whatever it was. Okay. Said, remember, there were times where there was a guy who was strong, big, an upcomer, a big name who might have had 15 fights, who would go against a guy that's 30-0, but just fought tomato cans or just fought gym fighters. You don't normally have it the other way around because we know you're 15 fights in. You're not ready for a guy that's 30, 31, whatever it was. And you're not ready for him. Mm-hmm. And that's what it turned out to be. Stanionis just wasn't ready. And there's levels to this, and Boot showed it. Boot showed it. That's where I want to go with that. So that's the good on my behalf. What was your takeaway from it on that aspect?
For the body of work, I'm glad he took him out. I'm glad it didn't go to the distance because I would have had a lot more questions in my mind if it had gone a distance, considering what we thought was going to happen. Like you said, Stanionis was who we thought he was, to quote Denny Green, right?
Yeah, man.
So I was happy that Boots got the stoppage. I thought overall his performance was solid. But I know we had some questions, and I'll be happy to take some of those. But at the end of the day, I'm glad he won the fight relatively convincingly. There wasn't a whole lot of doubt there.
This was not one of the questions, but because what you said made me think of this one. Okay. You're happy he got the stoppage.
Yeah.
And yes, Boots won what? All 5 of the rounds. Maybe you give one to Stanionis. Maybe if you're stretching, maybe give one to Stanionis. Maybe. So Did you think they were going to stop at that? Did you see that stoppage coming that early?
No.
And when I say that coming, not when we previewed it, but even as you're watching it, were you like,
Okay.
they need to stop this?
No.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Okay.
I think it was mentioned by the announcing team too. I was surprised his corner didn't give him one more round.
Yeah, you knew it wasn't going to get better on the aspect of, okay, now we figured it out. Now we put all this into our mental computer. Now we start taking these mid to late rounds. You knew that wasn't going to happen, but I didn't think he took punishment. But I didn't think he took a lot of, you know what I'm saying? But see, now though, because of where we are with the brain, with fighters, health, I don't want to say prematurely, but I think we are seeing stoppages that, in different sports or people throwing in a towel where no, let me take that back. I apologize for that. Now we're seeing camps protect their fighters a lot more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now it's not always go out on your shield. Now it's a lot, today just wasn't your day, buddy. We'll be back again. And that's hard for me because I know on the one hand, you want your fighter to be safe to live the fight another day. And I get that. But I'm from that old adage, go out on your sword. You know what I mean? So, or your shield. So, and as I say, doesn't where you start, it's where you finish. Did you finish on your feet? Did you finish stand? You know what I mean? So that was rough for me. And I didn't see it either. I know he took those uppercuts. What was it? 2 or 3 uppercuts at the end of 5th?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the 5th? That worried me a lot more than the actual punishment he took. And it worried me because it was like, dude, you almost froze. I didn't even see you. You didn't even take any. You just froze in that position and let him fire him off. You know what I mean? So that was troubling to me to see that.
I don't know. Again, I wasn't in the corner, obviously, and they didn't have the mic on at the time.
I know.
Corner, so I don't know what he told his corner. But at the end of the day, they stopped the fight. I'm not criticizing them for doing so. I was surprised based on what I saw. Like you were saying, didn't look like he was hurt per se. He was just taking a lot of punishment. And I agree. I guess all things being equal, if he wasn't significantly hurt, just taking punishment. I mean, I guess if I'm in the corner, I'm saying you've got to go out there and show me something in this round, or we're throwing it in. We are not going to watch you get killed in here. You got to do something different. You got to try something different because
I get that. I get that. Now, okay, so let me ask you this before we get to Bruce. Let me ask you this. Do you think his corner, like you said, should have given him another round? But do you think they realized there's no need for another round? Our guy just isn't at this level. Do you think they realize it? Not that it's not his night, because we've seen guys lose. Tonight just wasn't my night. He beat me to whatever. Stanionis was outclassed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, do you think? And I mean, we don't know. We're just two schlubs who love boxing. So, but do you think that's what do you think his corner saw it? We just ain't got it, man. We shouldn't. I don't want to say we shouldn't be in here, but we're definitely outclassed.
If that's the case, then one of two things needs to happen. He either needs to get new representation in his corner and start fresh, or he needs to find another line of work then. Because if it's true, I don't know what direction he's going to go on. I mean, he could keep fighting and make money, but he's going to take abuse doing so. But if they really took that, I mean, if you're a fighter, I mean, the last thing you want is your corner basically saying, "Nah, I mean, this guy's too much for you." Okay, well then I'll figure it out then.
But here's the thing, and I wish guys could have been serious, like talk to some of these guys behind closed doors where they couldn't, like, seriously. Stanionis was 15-9. You didn't know anybody. 15-9, 15-0 with what, 9-10 knockouts?
Yeah, 9 knockouts. Yep.
And you didn't know anybody on his calendar. You didn't know anybody on his resume.
No.
Ennis is 30-something. He was supposed to be the man, and do you really think Stanionis should be in there with him? And I would have liked to have spoken to, and I'm not even talking about guys that are big boots fans. You know what I'm saying? Just guys who didn't have a dog in the fight, whether you talk to, other fighters or talk to other commentators, talk to, do you really think, honestly, he should have been in there with him? Because no, and he wasn't ready. And if his corner said that, guy, you're not ready. We failed you because we should have watched on tape. You're not ready for this guy. We have to know our fighter, and we should have known he wasn't ready. So that to me is, if the roles, say Ennis Boots was coming off the same type of thing for the last two fights that Zoo was, This is the fighter that he needed. Somebody was strong, somebody on paper who could whatever, but my skill set's too good. My toolbox is too deep.
Yeah.
That's what I expected. But you're trying to be the man at 147. You possibly thinking about 154. This isn't the guy to do that against. You know what I mean? So to me, that, you know what I mean? So I wonder, and to me, if with 15 fights, no way should you have been in the ring with an Ennis. No way. There's too much skill set there. There's too much skill set there. There's too much experience there. You know what I mean?
NBA strap, and that's what made the difference.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Did you see, because they didn't have the IBF rules, so he didn't have to worry about his rehydration clause. Did you see how much weight he put on? Did you see how he filled out as in boots?
Mm-hmm.
You sent me the picture. He didn't look good when he weighed in. He looked very lean.
Yeah,
very lean. Okay, real quick, man.
He rehydrated about 15 pounds.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now here's we got to go with the bad. Okay. I can't give Boots much props for this win. And I'll go back to, the dude shouldn't have been in there with you. The guy didn't have the experience. The guy didn't have the power. The guy didn't have the skill set. The guy didn't have the toolbox. What any of the cliches you want to use. Okay. So you don't get credit for doing what you were supposed to do. Let's not forget, your Boots Ennis 2 fights ago, even though you think about it, Boots, you're winning. And in your last 2 fights, you won, and people were commenting, giving you sour grapes because you won. You know what I mean? And you didn't win in spectacular fashion. Still human of flesh and blood. You know, even the best of men are only men at best.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you have a guy who's Stanionis, holds his hand so high, gloves look like earmuffs, the body's open, so you dig the body. That's what you're supposed to do. His guard is wide. So and I called it. You're going to throw that uppercut because it's there. That's what you're supposed to do. He isn't Stanionis, doesn't get his head off the line, so you make him pay for that. That's what you're supposed to do. At your level, Ennis, you've done everything. Go to the body, check. Throw the uppercut, check. Da-da-da. He did the check. What was on the checklist? He didn't do anything we didn't think that he could do. So that's why it's hard for me to get hype. Oh, Boots look good. Boots look good. This was a sparring session for Boots. Now, you know what I'm saying? To me, in my opinion. And also further than that, I don't know if it was watching tape. I don't know what it was, but he knew Stanionis couldn't hurt him. He couldn't, because let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it at 100. You know what I mean? Let's keep it straight up and down, like 6 o'clock. Stanionis hit him solid a couple times, a few times. And that to me wasn't good. And here's why. Here's where I would have been extremely, extremely impressed by Boots. If he fights Stanionis, right? He fights Stanionis, and his defense almost looks like sweet peas, right? Or he's now doing the Philly shell, and he's doing the roll. He's not getting hit. He's making him, and he's looking good, stinging him, moving, you know what I mean? Hitting him when he can't hit you. If he'd have won that way, okay, great. But Boots didn't do much. He didn't do anything we've never seen him do. You know what I mean? So that's because of who the competition was. That's the only reason why I'm not as impressed with what what he did. And it was like, hey, just being honest with you, like our old dads, uncles, grandfathers used to say, you did what you were supposed to do. You know, you picture the old folks watching the guy score a touchdown. Oh, quit that damn celebrating. You're supposed to score.
Like you bet before.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. So that's where I am with it, man. So again, hate to be the old man, get off my lawn, but I wasn't impressed with this performance as a lot of other people were and everybody else was.
I'm with you. I understand what you're saying, and I do agree to a point. But I also I look at it like when the Michigan Wolverines won the national title 2 years ago in football. They were beating a lot of they beat them, beat some lesser schools, and their schedule wasn't strong, but yet they were getting their starters out by the mid-third quarter, latest fourth quarter in most of their games. And then they were able to beat the high upper echelon teams and win it all and and win the national title. Boots did better than I thought, because I was going off the last two performances.
You did, yeah. You thought it would go longer.
I'm like, I think he's going to go the distance, and I'm just like, I just want him to look impressive. I thought he did what he needed to do. He checked the boxes, like you said. But you're right. That's who he's supposed to do. But then that's what we expected him to do, and he did it. It wasn't spectacular though, and this wasn't like he didn't knock Tommy Hearns out in this fight, right? So it is what it is, but he did do what he was supposed to do, and he got a TKO on a champion in 6 rounds. He's got 2 straps now. I mean,
it is okay. So let me ask you this: if you're now for you, I don't care. Okay, so I'm not going to speak for you. For me, I would love to see him fight Norman Jr. It's not. I don't think it'll happen. I think that would be the worst mistake, because it's a lose-lose for Boots in the entire boxing community, because Norman's name isn't big enough yet. It's not. He just fought on ESPN. He's not even fighting on DAZN. You know what I'm saying? I think he still fights on ESPN. Mm-hmm. So having said that, the money won't be there. The draw won't be there. That's right. He takes Norman out in spectacular fashion, beats him. Okay, you beat nobody. We don't really know him. If he loses, you realize what he loses. You know what I mean? So I don't see him fight. I don't see it there. Same with Barrios. Can fight him. Barrios is strong. Those guys will give him fights, and I'd love to see him. Yeah. But for business, it just doesn't make sense for Boots to do that. And now, say you move up to 154. Okay? You move up to 154. Murdalayev can hit, brother. You know what I'm saying? Zoo can hit. You can't take those shots. And he knew. And here's the thing. He knew that he could take them from Stanionis, right? He knew he could take those. So maybe that's why his defense wasn't on point. I think, if anything, his defense should have been more on point, because that's what everybody wanted to see. But, hey, it wasn't. What do I know? But if you're going to go against Madrimov, I'm thinking, like I said, Ramos, Mendoza, you know what I'm saying? Or Fundora, Murdalayev. I'm trying to think, man, off the rip. Zoo, Virgil Ortiz Jr. Mm-hmm. Those guys got a lot more pop.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't take those shots. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see, where does he go from here? Because I didn't see a whole lot more difference in the defense. That's what I really would have been looking for. If he could make old boy miss in defense and he's still done the same, I'd have been more impressed. So that's what I'm where does he go from here?
And that was where my concern was. He took some solid shots too often in that fight. Now, again, I don't believe he lost a round, and he didn't get hurt per se. But you can't. To me, that kind of performance breeds to poor habits. That, to your point, when you get into those fights, maybe at 154 with gentlemen that are going to put your lights out potentially with one shot, you can't be screwing around like that. So was he screwing around? If he was, tighten it up, because I'll be blunt, that shit's got to stop. Because you do that against one of those other top 10 guys, you're in deep shit.
Yeah, so, man.
You play out, you practice, you play how you practice how you play.
Absolutely. So we'll see, man. But again, you know me though, man. I can criticize now, but I'm definitely going to watch his next fight, regardless of who it's against. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his ceiling's sky high.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's touch on this next one before we jump into the Hearns Hagler trip down memory lane. Ben Whittaker and Liam Cameron, the rematch is coming up. The first fight ended in a split decision draw in 5 rounds and chops. That happened because both guys basically got tangled up and fell over the top rope, and it was ruled like the fight was stopped. And the judges' scorecards, one card had Whittaker up 1 by 1 point. The other had Cameron up at 1 point. The other judge had it a draw, so a split draw. Then we had Ben Whittaker going out like your boy Paul Pierce in a wheelchair. But now, with the ankle, is it okay? Because
of
be able to dance, he's got to be able to do his thing in the ring. And I mean, I can't stand his style in boxing.
Me neither. And here's the thing. If you go out in a wheelchair, okay, fine. Do you realize he's never answered in any press conference or whatever what was actually the injury? Mm-hmm. Cameron fell worse than he did the way they hit. Cameron fell worse than the way he did. Now, here's the thing. We're going to keep it buck all. I don't think Whittaker wanted this fight. I don't think I don't think he wanted a rematch. Cameron is 34, 35 years old, somewhere around there, 33, 34, somewhere around in there. He's got 30-some fights. He's a seasoned vet. So, yes, Whittaker came out in the first round, dancing, weaving, won the first round, probably first two, whatever have you. And then to me, your boy Cameron showed him what's for. Started sitting down on punches, started smothering him. And I do think if it would win another round or two, Cameron was going to get him. I don't think Whittaker wanted this fight. I think Whittaker was bullied into this fight. Whittaker only has 8-9 fights. He expected an old journeyman in Cameron to be an easy win. And Cameron's had some rough go in his life. I think he's lost a daughter and a wife, or he's lost some loved ones close to him. He's like, there's nothing you can do in the ring that'll hurt me worse than what I've been through. You know what I mean? So I like Cameron. He's an old wily veteran, and I'm going with him in the rematch. I do think Whittaker will start out strong, and once he realizes, shit, I need more than boxing and dancing and trying to embarrass my opponent. Cameron's not going to fight. He's been in there too much. He's been in there with bigger names. Been in there with harder hitting guys.
Yeah.
So he's not going to fall prey to those antics. And that's why I wanted to touch on this, man, really, and I'm glad we did. I think Whittaker wasn't hurt. I think Whittaker realized, I'm tired. This guy's not getting out of there like everybody else. This guy's not falling for my antics. This guy is putting it on me and bringing it towards me. And I want to get out. Hell, he looked back and he rolled over. Yeah, Cameron was leaning on him, but he didn't try to stop going out of the ring either.
Oh, no.
He didn't try to stop. Yeah,
Cameron was really, really pissed off when that fight got stopped.
Absolutely. Because he knew. Look here. We can watch a fight. We can watch a football game, baseball game, whatever it is. If it's pitcher versus batter, if it's hockey, it doesn't matter. The two people that are competing, they can look at each other and know, I was getting you. And the other was like, you were getting me. And I think Whittaker in his heart, he knew Cameron was getting him. And Cameron felt it. He's like, the tide is turning. This cat is mine. This young buck is mine. And I do think Whittaker quit because it got tough. That younger generation, I think he quit because he got tough. He's got all the talent in the world, but he needs to stop being a showboat. He needs to stop being a glory hog and put the metal, the pedal to the metal and stay on task. And I'm interested to see if he can do that. And I'm interested to see if his gas tank is longer this time because Cameron's coming at him. Cameron's going to come at him. So I'm interested for that one too. I'm interested for that. Yeah. And again, not because Cameron's a journeyman and Whittaker's young. He hasn't proven himself yet, but because of the bad blood, because of the antics, that's why I want to see this.
It's gonna be an exciting fight. I like Cameron in this one too. I mean, I'm kind of pulling for him, but hey, I would, if Whittaker can turn it around and maybe show me something, that'd be nice. I mean, there's not many fighters I dislike to the point I never want to see them win. I like to see talent.
Absolutely.
I'm a Ennis fan, but if there's someone better gets them, I'm not gonna cry about it. I like to see combat and in the skill level. So it's gonna be an exciting fight. It's gonna be, and it's on Easter Sunday too.
I know. I don't want to be a bad way to end the day though. Isn't it an evening fight? I think it's an evening.
I believe so. So right after you get your ham and your eggs and everything, you settle in to watch the Whittaker Cameron.
Yeah, buddy. It'll be a good one.
Let's go back in time, Chops. We're gonna go back in time, and we are gonna talk about the first. It was the fight, and then it became the war. Hagler Hearns, April 15th, 1985. Man, I remember so vividly the hype leading up to this fight. It was such a big fight. I mean, it at least, and that was a big year too because you had Holmes and Spinks going too.
Yeah, because the first one got postponed
in '82.
Yeah, the first one got postponed. What Spinks? Hearns' hand, was it his hand or something to get? Yeah, his hand got hurt or something. Yeah. And do you remember? I've been digging around looking. They were doing commercials for this, and they were going back and forth, and they were actually shooting commercials and ads for this fight, and they were it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good one, man. It was a good one.
Yeah.
My parents had a fire a few years ago, destroyed the house, and there were some things I had. I told you I had a ton of my football cards. I had a Kirby Puckett rookie. I had a Joe Montana. I had some major cards in there, right? Those got destroyed. I also had some Sports Illustrated covers and articles and pictures that I had kept. You remember back in the day when we did in Pennsylvania, you got a Sports Illustrated. Crazy part was, why did we love to read Sports Illustrateds? Because they came out a week after the event, which we already knew would happen. You know what I'm saying? But we still loved our Sports Illustrated. So I got the Sports Illustrated. A couple I had kept. One was where Spinks was on the cover, and it was basically before he fought Tyson, and how and it was an article like some of his daughter was saying, "Pray for my dad," or something. I can't exactly remember that one, but I remember Spinks on the cover. But the two that I do vividly remember, one wasn't even a cover, but it was a double page of Sean Burke, the old goalie for the New Jersey Devils.
Oh yeah.
And the article said he's in because he keeps him out. And he's doing a split as he's catching a save. So I had that picture that I had kept since junior high, and that article, and it was labeled 8 Minutes of Fury.
Yeah.
Lost all of it in the fire. 8 Minutes of Fury. That fight was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And it was, man. It was just crazy. And again, and I'm watching it, but I'm getting into it. But I didn't realize the magnitude of what Hearns, what Hagler was, the fork. I wasn't into that just yet. You know what I'm saying? I just like good fights. So my dad, my uncle, they're hype, whatever, their Pabst Blue Ribbon, whatever, whatever have you. And Hamm's was an old local beer, Rolling Rocks. They're hooting and hollering. And they're screaming and going crazy. And I'm like, it was phenomenal. I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it. It was crazy. Phenomenal.
Yeah, it was, the fight itself was, 8 Minutes of Fury is a perfect way to describe it. Incredible. The first round of the fight's widely considered the best round in boxing history, at least in the modern era. And Top Rank, which has the fight on YouTube right now, free fight. You can watch it on YouTube in its entirety.
I've watched it 4 times. Literally since yesterday, I've rewatched it 4 times. I go through all the, the ring walk and them talking, get on the bell. Now, here's what I didn't realize until yesterday, even because a lot of times L. Bernstein, those guys were commentating, and I've done it for years. I'll turn a fight down. I would turn a fight down because then I wasn't listening to the announcers. I wasn't breaking them down. So I would just turn it down. Now I'll listen to see some of the things they say or whatever have you. But, right, back then I could watch a football game silent. I didn't like the commentators, so whatever have you. So I wasn't paying attention. And back then, I'm 13, 14, whatever, so I damn sure wasn't in it like that. I'm sitting back row at the house because my dad and my uncles and they're all watching it. I'm a kid. I don't get near the TV. I got to sit back in the back, So I wasn't listening to the commentators. Okay, first and foremost, I didn't realize Hagler fought first round southpaw, second round traditional. I didn't realize that. I did not realize that until I was just rewatching it over the last 48 hours, number one. Number two, I counted 2, possibly 3 low blows Hagler hit Hearns with, but we overlooked them because they were just 2 caged animals.
Yeah.
They were just 2 caged animals. And in that way, which I'd forgotten, Hagler just came out throwing hooks. He threw jabs, but not many. And not many at all. And it was a war from bang to bullet. It was go, go, go. It was just like that.
It was an incredible fight. There was a tremendous respect between the two, but there was a lot of animosity. I mean, you want to talk about, like the weigh-in and the press conferences and the stare downs. There was no bravado. There was no BS. They stared at each other and they wanted to burn a hole through each other. I mean, they wanted to kill each other.
Yeah. And Tommy Hearns honestly believed, as a lot of people did, that right hand is a game changer. Nobody walks away from getting hit with that flush. And Hagler, I don't want to say got rocked, but he stumbled when he got hit with it one. I remember once. Now,
Hagler spent time in the hospital after that fight.
Oh, dude, he didn't fight again. Before that fight, Hagler was fighting 2 or 3 times a year, multiple times. After that fight, he fought 3 more times. One was Leonard, and then he retired.
The Leonard fight was the last one. Yep.
Yes, and right after his fight after Hearns was a year later against John the Beast Mugabe, which was another war.
Great.
Yes, which was another war. And I didn't realize Hagler retired at 33 years old.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
He was sick of he felt he'd been screwed one too many times.
Yeah. He did. And that's also
Leonard fight, but a lot of people felt he certainly Leonard didn't do enough to beat the champ. That's what where a lot of people come from on that one.
Yes. And as you said, there was a lot of bad blood, whatever. But it wasn't cocky machismo in this fight. As you said, Hearns is looking through him. And Hagler truly felt disrespected. He never felt like he was getting the dues and the just desserts that he deserved. He just didn't.
And he wasn't.
No. And when he comes out, man, so we have the greatest first round ever in boxing. To me, forget about the greatest first round, the greatest round. And I say that because I've seen some other action-filled rounds. The one Diego Corrales was in where he got knocked down twice, and that was a great fight. But when you're looking at who these guys were, where they were in their career, with that Hagler Hearns is unmatched. It's unmatched. So, having said that, they just bang. And I'd like to know, I can almost think what happened, what went through each guy's head when Hagler got hit with those devastating rights, got rocked, got some, whatever you want to call it, but didn't fall. Hearns hits him a couple times with that solid right.
Yeah.
Where he can break concrete. And this man's still looking at me. This man is still looking at me. I would have loved to know the mental psyches on that. And I say that because of this. Second round comes out. Hearns wants to box. And his team tells him start to box. Hagler was like, no. This is not a walk down beautiful Rodeo Drive. We're in the hood. We're in the slums. We're going to the ghetto. I'm going to drag you through the streets. You know what I mean? Because Hearns wanted the bang. Hearns would not let him set up that jab.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because at the time I didn't know. And you can kind of see it in the fight, but the from what I've heard from the Hearns camp is that he broke his right hand in the first round.
I heard that. Yes, I did hear that. Which again, I didn't know then. But hearing things now and whatever have you, yeah, I've heard that. And not trying to be funny, I believe it. But think about this though. Say he broke multiple bones in there. It had to be one of, if not that first monster shot he hit Hagler with. But what do? You hit this man with everything you have. That is my knockout punch. If I'd have been a WWE wrestler, that's my go-to finishing move.
Yeah.
And he ate it. What does that do to your mental psyche? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it stinks. And if he did break his hand, man, we got robbed as fans. We got robbed because I would have loved to have seen how this goes on. Because Hagler, he's cut. It's just a nasty cut. He's leaking all over the place. But he refuses to quit. That fight it was ridiculous. Now, again, at that time also, you had heavyweights that were still doing it at a great – you know what I'm saying? Now it's the middleweights and the younger, lighter weights. And when I say middleweights, I'm talking about the younger guys, not true middleweight. The younger guys and the heavyweights aren't showing a whole lot. But then all divisions were showing, all divisions were shining. And those guys came out and reset the standard. It was a phenomenal go, man. It was phenomenal.
I mean, after the first round, I was very happy with what Hearns had done, but I was also like, damn. I mean, he obviously cut Hagler badly, but it's like he doesn't act hurt and he's not acting hurt. And then when the second round, like you said, when Hagler came out and said, we're not playing games. We're going to finish this the way we started it. I was real concerned. And I say that because I remember the first Leonard Hearns fight. Hearns was beating Leonard. Hell, Andy said, "You're blowing it, son. You're blowing it." He knew it, and he's like, "Okay, you got to get it done." And Leonard did. He found the way, and he put Tommy out. I was really concerned about that. And then, needless to say, when the third round started, it it wasn't going to be much longer. But when you, even with the broken hand, when people don't understand, not like I'm some pro boxer here, but when you just training in rounds, if you want to be a hero and think, oh, I'm just going to punch the hell out of this bag for 30 seconds,
let's try it.
Let's see how good you are for the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yes, exactly.
So, and when you're in a street fight, 60 seconds feels like an eternity.
If you get into a 60-second street fight, that's a long fight.
That's a long
fight.
So that's what this fight was. That first round was 3 minutes straight of street fight.
Yeah.
And Hearns and it was smart. Yeah, let's throttle down. Let's make this more of a marathon. When Hagler said, "No, we're not playing that game," that was a big turning point. And then if the injury was there, and I have no reason to think it wasn't, he was in big trouble at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Do you think it was a culmination of the hand? Was he hurt? Was it hand and he's tired? Was it just tired? Hearns got up, but he didn't get up in time. Ali beat Foreman. He didn't beat Foreman up. Foreman was tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How much tired do you think? Because I don't care who you are. The human body is not meant to take those blows and go that way for that long. But I think Hagler just refused to quit.
I think when Hearns went down, he was hurt, obviously, but he was tired too, no question.
Yeah.
But I think it was a blessing in disguise that he was hurt enough and tired enough that he just was not right even when he beat the count. And the referee wisely stopped it because he would have got hurt badly.
Yeah. No, he is in Hearns. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, maybe because he retired too soon. I don't know. He had multiple fights with Iran Barkley, some bangers. Mm-hmm. He had multiple fights with Sugar Ray. Never ran it back with Hagler. And I don't know if that's because Hagler retired too soon. I don't know. I don't know.
It makes sense because it was about 2 years later. It was 87 when he fought Leonard, and then he was done.
Yeah.
I mean, Tommy and Ray ran it back. What was that? That was in 90. The second fight.
Yeah.
So that was 9 years later because their first fight was in 81. It's funny when Tommy Hearns probably has as much respect in defeat as he has in victory in his career because of the guys he lost to, Leonard, Hagler, Barkley.
Yeah.
But they like you said, they were bangers. They were epic fights. It's not like he got embarrassed. He was, quite frankly, was beating his opponents down and then ended up losing the fight anyways. But I mean, that was like a throwback to back in the 50s and 40s when like Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Robinson lost fights.
Yeah.
But never a bad performance. And he always came back and turned it around and got the rematch.
I wonder if Hagler knew from the opening bell, as long as my heart will pump, we're going balls to the wall. Because he's always been aggressive and he'll come at you.
Yeah.
This was different. You know what I'm saying? This was different. The way he was just, I will not quit. I will not stop. You cannot stop me. I'm unstoppable. Nothing Hagler didn't. I mean, when Hagler hits him with everything with the kitchen sink, those right hands were brutal. But he just keeps coming forward.
Yeah.
That to me, jeez, I don't know, man. That was a great one. That fight was a great one.
Yeah, I think my personal opinion is that Hearns probably surprised him a little bit by being super aggressive as soon as the bell rang in round one.
Yeah,
all over him. He had to weather the storm, and he had to. He by the middle of the round, he was fighting. He was starting to get a little bit back against Hearns, but Hearns definitely took the round. But it was just tremendous pace. And then at that point, yeah, if you're Marvin Hagler, you're like, damn, if I can't not come forward anymore because if he's going to keep doing this, I'm dead. So like, yeah. I gotta keep pounding. And
I would have. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but then the Hearns corner had their rationale, and it worked out perfectly because Hagler was like, no, we're going to fight. And Hearns wanted to box again. It's like, nope, Now, then the tide turned, and that was a mistake. And then the other thing that came up too, and this came up many times, Emmanuel Stewart got really pissed off because he had found out that Hearns before the fight had gotten a leg massage, and
his legs didn't look good. He looked rubbery. Even in round 2 when he was trying to box, he just didn't look like he was on solid ground. What's up with that?
That's been something they had said many times, and they said it was a huge mistake. And it was like a deep tissue leg massage, so it really loosened his legs up, and the timing wasn't good. Obviously, I don't know much about that, to be honest with you, the physics of it. But it kind of makes sense because when you're training, your muscles get loaded with blood, and they're filled and they're taut. But when you massage them down, you're spreading that out and you're loosening.
I got you. Well, let's put it this way: the fact that he's in for the biggest fight of his career at that point, everything's on the line. Hall of Famer, your trainer, Emmanuel, doesn't know that you got a leg massage, which means you kept that from him. Because Emmanuel would have told you no. You knew you shouldn't have done it. You might not have known why, but the fact that you kept it from Emmanuel Stewart lets me know he didn't want you to have it. Man, let me tell you something. I told you there was a club here in Atlanta, and I met 97, 98. I met Hagler, right? I met Hagler. And when I'm telling you what Hagler was, they had him listed at 5'10", 5'8", 5'9". 5'8", 5'9", right? But when I'm telling you, and you figure he fought at what?
160.
160. He never went up. 160, right? So let's say he put on a few pounds because he still looked good and in shape, right? Still good and in shape. If you didn't know who he was and you saw him walking down the street, a little guy, 5'8", 5'9", 160 pounds, you think, oh, I'd have robbed this guy and whoop his ass. He was not a physical presence. He just wasn't. He just wasn't. In so many different ways that fight could have went.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we could have drawn up a better fight. I really don't. And let me tell you something. Every 10 years, every 5 years of this, I have an anniversary for it. This fight was huge. And I wish they'd have really given it the love, as we all liked it, and it was considered the best round in boxing. But I wish maybe on the 20th, the 25th anniversary, they'd have had those two guys sit in a room. And even if you couldn't sit in a room and talk to them as round goes on, do like a football, like for one of those documentaries where you watch it with Hagler at his house.
Ali used to do that. Ali would do that with Cosell.
Yes. Yeah. To where, and like, what was going on through your mind? I wish they could have done it. Not have been perfect if they could have done it in the same room. I don't know if those guys still had animosity. I don't know. But it would have been great if they could have had both those guys in the same room.
And that's why I put this picture up here, guy. I hated that they carried Tom Hearns out of the ring. I didn't like that at all. Bad look. But they respected the shit out of each other.
I wish I knew how big that guy was carrying Tommy Hearns. Because Tommy Hearns, they were fighting 160. He probably is about 165, 170. I mean, he hasn't blown up a lot because he's 6'2". Yeah. So it's hard to judge his weight. But he's carrying him out of there like you don't normally see a grown man carry another grown man like that. Just because the grown man's heavy. You know what I'm saying? The size. But he's carrying him out there. Hearns is drained. Man, it was a hell of a fight. Hell of a fight, man. Hell of a fight.
And to close it out, the trainer I used to work with a few years ago, Greg Wright, who was out of Kronk too, he said he met Hagler. I want to say it was during the second. It was the rematch of the Fury Wilder rematch, the first one, I believe. The second fight. And he said he met him. He goes, dude, I was in pretty good shape at the time because I'm like 5'11", 170. He goes, he's more rocked up than you. And I said, damn, because this is right when he passed away. He told me the story. When he passed away, he goes, I met him a year ago. And he goes, it was amazing. I'm like, damn, man, I hated that he beat Hearns, but I loved Hagler. He's a great fighter.
Hagler, he was, man. I remember Hagler was a great dude. And he worked hard. Hagler worked hard, man. And R.I.P. He was a great one, one of the kings.
Oh yeah, amen. So let's close this one out. For Chops, I'm Drew. Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. We're doing content every week. We're talking boxing, UFC, all combat sports. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you watching, and we'll talk to you next week. Have a great holiday, and Chops, you have a great holiday. I know you're traveling back home, so safe travels, my friend.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Head to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, take care, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for watching the Haymakers and Submissions podcast. You can find us on the ESEN network on the Roku app every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time beginning on October 4th, 2024. Check us out on Twitter X. Our handle is @HaySubPod, capital H, capital S, capital P. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode. Just go to your web browser and type in www.youtube.com/@Haymakers and Submissions podcast, as we will drop content weekly. Whether it's boxing, MMA, or wrestling that gets you fired up, you'll get all you need right here at the Haymakers and Submissions podcast.